When writing an essay for academic purposes, you will need to use citations and referencing. In this video, we will talk about how to do this. Students are often required to produce written work in order to demonstrate that they have read, understood, and evaluated some of the literature in their field, and that they can synthesize ideas from more than one source. This means that you can use information from different sources and put them together into one argument, and that they can select appropriate academic sources to support their point of view or perspective. The instructor is checking to see if the writer can find appropriate information that helps to support the writer's thoughts. One thing that you need to be careful of is that you do not plagiarize in your assignments. Plagiarism is taking someone else's information and passing it off as one's own. In other words, it is using someone else's information without citing the source. By citing, we mean showing where the information was found. Plagiarism is a serious offense, so you need to be careful when writing your assignments. All right, let's talk about citations and references. Some things that you will need to gather include the following: the author of the information you have found, the title of the book or article, the date it was written or published, and sometimes some additional information. This will vary depending on the source, whether it's a book, an article, or information from a website. There are specific rules for each one of these. So what is a citation? A citation is a specific source that you have used in your paper. This could be a quote or some useful information that you have found to help support your ideas. Now, this is something that you use in your essay. The reference list is a list of the sources that have been cited. This is where you will make a list of all the different sources that you have used in your assignment. This usually comes at the end of your essay or paper. There are different forms of in-text citations for different disciplines. The APA is used for science and technical papers. In this type of in-text citation, you will need the author's surname or their last name, their family name, the year of publication, and the page number if you have quoted something directly. It will look something like these two examples. The reference list at the end of the essay will look like this. We'll talk about how to find the information for that in a little bit. Another common form of in-text citation is something we call the MLA, which is used for humanities, cultural studies, and literature papers. In this system, the author is mentioned in the text and the page number from where your source was taken is added at the end of the sentence. And the work's cited page would look like this. Let's take an example and see how we would write a citation and reference for the APA style. Let's say you have found this information that you want to include in your essay. Now, if you used it just like it is in your essay, it would be a problem. This would be plagiarism. The reason is that there are no quotation marks around the direct quotes. These words have been copied directly from another source. These are not your words. There are no citations acknowledging someone else's ideas or work. There's no information about where this came from or who wrote it. It appears in your work, your writing, so if this was used in your essay, the reader would think it was your own words and ideas. So to use this passage, the ideas or the work of the original must be cited. So let's find out what you need to do. You will need to have the information about where you found this. Here's the information about the article and who wrote it and when. The first thing we need to do is to put quotation marks around the part that we have copied. Then we need to include the author and the date. Now, this is how we would include an in-text citation for the APA system. For the APA reference list, we need to write it in this style. The author with their initials, the year, the title of the work, and the publisher. So again, here's the information that we have about where we found these words. So we will fill in the information like this. The author and the date would look like this. And this will connect with the in-text citation that we wrote in the essay. The reader can easily find the word tauli in the reference list because it matches what has been written in the essay. Then the title of the work and the publisher. One more thing that you need to be careful about is that after each section, you will need to put a period or a dot. There is one after the year and one after the title. Now let's look at how we would cite in the MLA style. We have found this quote on a website that we want to use. Now, often in a website article, there are no page numbers. In this case, for MLA, we can just write the name of the author and use that to connect it to the Works Cited page. Here's the information from the website for us to use to help us write our reference. The author's name comes first and will connect to the word in our in-text citation. Then the title of the work, followed by the publication date and the website address. You can also add the date that you accessed that information. This is often useful, especially for information that can change with time, such as news articles. And again, we need to add a period after each section to separate them. For the reference list or the works cited list, for both APA and MLA, you will need to write your list in alphabetical order. They need to be in ABC order. In this particular reference, you can see that they are D, G, L, and Z. So these are some of the specifics about citations and referencing in your assignments. Now, when writing these assignments, you want to use evidence in your essays to show that you can find other experts that agree with your opinions, but you must cite them correctly to avoid plagiarism. You also want to be able to connect these ideas together smoothly in your essays. The ability to write a cohesive argument rests on your ability to link your arguments. This is achieved through using reporting verbs to integrate your arguments and citations together. Specific verbs also allow the writer to indicate the degree to which they support the author of the research. Example, claims that versus argues that. These are specific verbs that can change the approach of the information you are presenting. The following phrases can be used to introduce evidence. It is poor writing to use the same verbs all the time. For example, says that or states that. You should find some other words to use to introduce your evidence in your papers. Here are some that you can use. When you're looking for evidence to use in your assignments, you might try doing some of these things. Have some questions ready. What ideas are you looking to use as evidence? Take notes concerning these ideas. Write down any other general ideas you find that you could use somewhere else in your essay. Sometimes when you're looking for certain information, you will also find something else that you could use in another section of your essay. Be sure to add quotation marks for any words that are copied. Also, write down the source information. The reader expects to read about your point of view, but you must support your opinion with evidence. You want to find other experts who also believe the same way that you do about a topic. And before you choose what to use in your essay, you might want to check these things. Has the author written several articles on the topic, and do they have the credentials to be an expert in their field? Can you contact them? Do they have social media profiles? Have other credible individuals referenced this source or author? If it's a book, what have reviews said about it? All of these things will help you to choose the information that is credible that will help to prove your argument in your assignments. These are just some of the basics of citation and referencing in academic papers. For more detailed information, you will need to check some of the official APA or MLA websites or ask your instructor. I hope you found this video helpful in explaining how to write in-text citations and references for your academic writing. Happy writing!